Return to Glory podcast. It is Monday morning, August 4th. New recording schedule for the pod. 6 a.m. Monday mornings, Thursday mornings. Episodes will be out shortly after we finish recording. So with that, Dak shows up this morning with his shirt on backwards, inside out. If you're on YouTube watching, you can see it there.
Just roll out of bed, threw the hat on, put a shirt on. I was ready to rock and roll.
Right, bushy tail, baby. Let's go.
Didn't even know what time we were going. Just took a wild guess. I was right.
Well, that's your own fault. Yeah, having to adjust the schedule a little bit here because of Austin's newborn. So this will work better for us getting in the routine. Grab a cup of coffee and enjoy listening to us here every Monday and Thursday morning. Today's conference, or not even conference, but our schedules preview here. So sent out a bunch of questions for our listeners to give the percentage chance of winning each game. So we have that in. We have 28 to 30 responses here. Austin, Dak, and I did our own as well. So we just want to jump right into it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really, any follow-up fall camp. Mac Markway towards ACL again, but outside of that, I don't know if there's really any noteworthy news.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out, call out. I hope that's the last of the injuries here in fall camp. He might have contributed some here, but obviously he had that injury previously. So
open practice Saturday, we were able to see new concession prices.
And
$19 for a beer and a runza. There you go.
Yeah. It's not cheap, but I don't.
$12, I think, for normal. Just a single beer.
And $7 for just a runza and Valentino's, which I think that's what it was before. Am I wrong?
They might have raised them $1. I want to say there might have been $6.
$6 before? Okay.
Gotta love it. Even Husker football concessions is rising.
$19 for a runza and a beer is
outrageous.
I also thought it was funny because on the concession stand, they show it kind of like a combo that, it's like, oh, you're getting a deal if you get a beer and a runza together, but it's like $7 and then for a runza and it's $12 for a beer normally. So it's really just the exact same price, except for they tell you up front that's going to be $19 for a beer and runza.
Another shout out here too, or another stat I heard. So the NCAA only allows a handful of open practices, only 8 of them, and before game one, that's like a standard or a thing they let us do. And our fan day counts as 1 because we had an open practice. So not sure how I feel about that, but we don't get that many, and we used 1 on an open practice.
Apparently the fans can't record anything there. I did not know that at these open practices.
Obviously.
Well, because I saw some tweet, some Husker fan before I hopped on here said something like, hopefully someone got a video of that, and I don't know, some guy tweet back like, hey, dumbass, you can't record there. Something like, I don't know.
But yeah. I mean, you obviously can't. Is that, Dak, the whole Michigan thing? Are you?
Oh, yeah.
You're a rock.
Makes sense.
All right. Schedule breakdown. So we've done this in years past. We have not got this many responses or asked for them, I guess. But what we do, each game we go through, briefly talk about it. It's not an in-depth preview. Give our percentage chance of winning. Then you add them all up at the end, and it gives you some sort of win total prediction. Right now, Nebraska's win total, we are sitting at 7.5. And the juice, the favorite is to the over right now. So for betting odds, I guess, I think it's minus 140, minus 150, which means you got to put like 140 down to win 100. So it's better than 50-50 odds, but not enough to like move it up to 8 or 8.5. So that gives you an idea of where national people are at. And probably a lot of Husker fans included in that on Nebraska this year. Our schedule overall, let's just say easy, question mark.
No.
Okay. It's
That's what we thought. What was it, 2 years ago? We're like, oh boy, what was it,
I thought it
last
was last
year?
year.
I don't remember what year it was. We're like, it's an easy schedule, and then it's like, oh, Indiana's gonna be 9-0 going into the Indiana game. It's like, okay, well,
Illinois is gonna be ranked.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
it's okay. It's easier than last year. Can we say that?
We're dodging Ohio State and Oregon, so there's no Ohio State. So yes,
Yeah.
because Ohio State is a guaranteed loss.
But we got Penn State on the road.
Yeah, it's easier.
We do have Penn State on the. I don't. I think it's easier than last year, but not much.
Well, here it is. I pulled it up here again on YouTube. If you're watching, you can see the live screen that we're going through. But for those of you that don't know the schedule already, we open up on Thursday, August 28th in Arrowhead Stadium against Cincinnati. Then we have back-to-back, actually not back-to-back, back-to-back home games. Akron and Houston Christian on the next two. Then the one that a lot of people are talking about, Michigan at home on Saturday, September 20th. And then Michigan State at home. So starting off the year with, I guess I called Cincinnati a home game. It's technically not, but I just gave it a home game, being in Arrowhead. Then we go on the road to Maryland and Minnesota the next 2 weeks. Minnesota being a Friday night game. Northwestern at home. USC at home. Then we go to UCLA, our second bye weekend there, and then at Penn State, and then hosting Iowa to finish it up.
I know there's a bye week, but that's a tough travel schedule. At UCLA, at Penn State.
Going into last year, I don't think it's easier. Like I'm talking like same point as we talked last year before the season. I think it's almost tough. Yeah, it's tougher.
I disagree. It's much easier.
I would say it's slightly easier because we don't get Purdue. Cincinnati's easier than Colorado.
Should be, yeah.
That's probably the difference because I feel like Northwestern and Wisconsin are probably similar. Rutgers, I feel like Maryland's better than Rutgers.
No clue. We have no clue about UCLA, really. Michigan.
Guys, I do think, though, I mean, just from a
it's not the slam dunk.
It's a lot easier. And I think the strength of schedule metrics and people that are talking, I've seen us out there on having easier schedules, whether it be in the Big Ten or nationally, top 25 nationally, easier schedule. Whereas last year we were not. We had a tougher one. So I think it's much easier. But again, what's easy? Like,
well, okay, so
like what's easy for Nebraska? Like, we have not won a lot of games we should have, but last year we got a little bit closer to that, I guess. I do think there's two gimmies on this schedule, and I'll chalk those up as wins when we get there. But I think there's at least a couple of them, and maybe we could talk about a third as well. So I think it's easier. I think that is a little bit why our win total is a little bit higher in addition to the year 3 rule narrative. But that's my general take on the schedule.
I would agree it's easier. I'd probably disagree with that. It's much easier.
Out of the top 3, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, who would you play?
I'd rather play Penn State of those two.
Yeah, I think I would too. I don't know. You don't.
But this year, I think we're talking. Well, I think we're talking about one that's a guaranteed loss. So I don't really care. Like,
yeah,
I'm talking about getting us to the most wins. That though, I think all 3 of those, no matter who you play, is a guaranteed loss. I actually do think this year is probably a little bit closer than years past. Penn State's a dark horse natty title contender. Ohio State's a favorite natty title contender. Yeah. So, Dak, I strongly disagree with saying this year's schedule is harder. Did you look at last year's schedule?
Yeah. It ended up being harder. which it could be the case this year too. All these, you have no idea how all these teams are going to pan out. Going into last year, you thought it was super easy.
No,
Yes, going into last year, we did think it was super easy.
We
we thought it
all were saying
was we
6 and
thought it
0.
was easier. Yeah,
We thought it was no, we thought it was very believable that we were going to be 7-0 going into week 8 last year. I remember us all being like, it's doable. It's very doable. This year, you hit Michigan. I mean,
No,
that's the one. Like you're facing that one before then.
yeah. We'll talk about that because I've heard the very same conversations. Maybe not from myself or us, but of certain records being thrown out there. Even saw something on national that had us, I think 8 or 9-0 here. So okay, let's start going game by game, and see where we end up. I pulled up ours and I have the stats, the totals for everybody's submissions here that we will talk about. I have the minimum, maximum, the average and median for you stats people out there. The average is what you think of when you think of average. It just takes everything and divides it by the total. The median is the middle score. So it kind of takes out if there's anything that's really high or really low, it excludes that. And then we have Dak, Austin, and my picks here. So we'll go through this game by game. We'll just reveal it all at once here. So Cincinnati, Dak and myself came in 60%. Austin higher at 76. The average came in right at around 68% chance of winning. The lowest we had was a 45%, which that seems doom and gloom. And then the highest 80%. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm surprised that everyone had it that low. I know, like, I mean, I feel like 3/4 is a reasonable thing because I agree it's going to be closer to a home game than not. And I don't really think Cincinnati's been, I mean, I don't remember what their record was last year, but I don't remember being super impressed. They lost Coach Fickle 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
he
Scott.
got hired staying rules year or
Scott
staying 2
Satterfield's
years
there now.
I mean, you look at what they did last year. Again, every year is different, and I can't say I follow Cincinnati super close, but they ended last year on a 5-game losing streak. They beat UCF, Arizona State, Houston, and Miami, Ohio, and Towson. And even then, their wins were all pretty close, except for their first week win, and then their win against Houston, which I can't say any of those are super impressive, but they lost to TCU, Kansas State, Iowa State, West Virginia, and Colorado. So I don't know. I think 3/4 seems reasonable. 75%, 76% seems not pessimistic, but not optimistic.
Talent wise, for sure, you should win this game just based on talent. But as we saw in many years, Nebraska really likes to drop these kind of games. Like
The
you said,
line has got down. It opened at -7. Now it's at -6.5.
so people are betting Cincy.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's gonna be like at least 80-20 Husker fans there. I don't think Cincinnati's gonna be traveling. They're not gonna bring many fans with them. They've been down. Have they made a bowl game since Fickle's been there or since Fickle left?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they haven't been down or they haven't been good in years. I don't.
I added in a third or fourth person's pick here because he actually did the implied odds. So take the spread to calculate the implied odds. So the implied odds right now, as they said, gives us a 64% chance of winning based on the spread. My big thing on this game is just the first game narrative that we've had for years, regardless of who we're playing.
Yeah.
It hasn't been great, and all the pressure and the buildup for these first games, we've just struggled in them in recent years, including Rural's first game against Minnesota. I just think that to me gives me some hesitation. I do agree. I don't know, like you guys said, how great Cincinnati is. I've not heard great things about them, but I do think that we have not been great in first games either. So that's why I'm at 60%. And yeah, I mean, it is. The average just came in higher than the implied odds, and then it's closer to where Austin's at too. So Cincinnati there, Houston Christian, and South Alabama. I'm putting these two together.
Should be slam dunks. Yeah.
Max's 100%. Someone had 80% for South Alabama. That seems wild to me, but Houston Christian 80% also seems wild. But anyways, the average came in at around 95, and then Houston Christian even higher than that.
If Matt Rule loses to Houston Christian, he's done after the year.
I said I mean, a lot of people had 99% or 100%. And I know, I guess rounding, you can't really truly have 100% in the game like this, but I'm like, what is the 1% that we lose this game? Like, how does that even, like, what even does that look like?
Dylan Raiola tears his ACL.
You were telling me, and you're dead serious, that don't beat Houston Christian.
I do. I think Houston Christian just became like Division One, or they're FCS, but just became FCS not too long ago. I think they're the quality of an NAIA school. Like I said, I just do not think there's any way, even if Raiola and our entire starting lineup like gets sick with pneumonia and our third stringers play, like I think we still win this game. That's all I really have to say on this one.
Yeah, it's like that Bethune-Cookman game a couple years ago.
Correct.
Not impossible, but
basically impossible.
Rule will be fired if you lose that game.
Dak, I do want to ask you, why do you have 85% at South Alabama?
Just because the couple years past,
isn't that Akron?
What?
Yeah, we choose Akron, not South Alabama.
I'm not sure why I have South Alabama there.
Okay, now I know why I put 85%, because didn't you?
Oops.
Wasn't Akron like very close to beat you guys a couple years ago, or am I thinking it was a different team?
The Zips?
Nope, that was the game that got rained out.
Yeah, it was the game that got rained out. Scott Frost's first game.
I mean, Akron's not like.
Akron's not a nobody. I don't disagree.
But Dak, 85%.
You wouldn't give Akron a 15% chance of winning that game?
No. Clearly. I'm just saying you're lower than everybody, so I want you to explain it. But obviously you probably don't have a reason because you never do.
Listen, Dak, Akron had 4 whole wins last year, and only one of them was an OT. So they might be all right. They got their clocks cleaned.
I just think you give, like, they are not Houston Christian level of a team. They're
okay. Agreed. You didn't put them at 99%. I'm asking you why you put them at 85%.
Because I'll give Akron a 15% chance. They're a D1 school, been D1 school for a while. Like they
scored
have
17
talent
against Rutgers.
They're a D1 school. You get automatic 15%. Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, the implied odds have us at 97% chance, which is right in the ballpark where everybody else is at. Dak fails to give an answer to his low.
He's not the minimum, though.
He is not the minimum, but he's close to it. Next up, Michigan.
This one was
game that everybody's been talking about. Hopefully, we're not overlooking the Cincinnati game. I think we can overlook the other two. That's fine. But Michigan comes to town 2:30 on September 20th. Here's where we're at. Implied odds, I think that one might be adjusted. I don't know. I think Michigan is favored, but I know it's very, very, very close to a pick 'em. Maybe Michigan's like a 2.5 point favorite. The Average comes in right at 45%, which is right where Dak said. I'm slightly lower than that at 40. Austin's right around there at 37. 20% is the lowest, 60% is the highest. I think this is one that some people just think, oh, it's Michigan. We can't win this. We're not going to win this. Michigan's better than us. We get them at home, and I think there's a chance at winning. I don't think we're favored to win. Now, can we? Yes. But 40% is where we're kind of all at in that ballpark.
Because everyone's argument that Michigan's fall off is due to just talent loss. Am I correct in saying that? I have not really
Yeah.
followed Michigan yet. I know they got a really good quarterback a freshman quarterback, but
that's another big reason. Bryce Underwood coming, road environment. Michigan does go play at Oklahoma, I believe, in week 2. I think that game will tell us a lot about Michigan. The other thing to mention here is this is one of the games that head coach Sharon Moore cannot coach in because they took a self-imposed 2-game suspension. They play somebody else, a nobody, the week before. Had to be back-to-back. They chose our game and their no name versus the Oklahoma no name. So that might add a little bit of, if the Huskers play it right, a little bit of added motivation that they don't think they need their head coach, which is it that big of a deal in today's college football world? Probably not, but it's going to be made out to be when we get to that game.
I mean, Michigan's quarterback situation last year was absolutely terrible. So
yeah, they
still won
lost
7 games.
Yeah, they won 7 games, and the 5 losses they lost to Texas, Oregon, Indiana, Illinois, and they beat Ohio State by 3 to end the season.
Yeah, you just know Michigan's always going to have a good O-line, good running game. It's just that quarterback position with them. That'll be their big difference.
I think whoever gave them 60% is insane. Whoever that is, I guarantee you the rest of their win odds they have us winning 10 wins if you have us beat Michigan 60%.
And I think that person actually does. So
I would say honestly, I'm surprised 52 for the implied odds. I think that's crazy high.
I did look at at Fuyon here, who sent me the text, and he said he kind of did it off of season win totals, and then how so it's not perfect implied odds, but it's close. He said a lot of them are, but they are adjusted a little bit, but that gives a kind of a close ballpark number. Okay, Michigan State. We're all very similar. I'm a little higher than people here. Min of 40%, max of 80%. Man, there's someone that's really pessimistic out there. Average, median, right around 65%. I'm at 75, Austin 68. The implied odds 68%. This game's at home. I do think we're coming off of a bye week heading into this one. I think that helps us a little bit of a reset.
Yeah,
I do think if we get beat by Michigan, I think that is kind of a bounce back game for us. I don't think Michigan State's great. We obviously have lost to them in the past. I get that, but I think this is more of like a get right game for us, or just a straight ride the momentum game versus it being a potential trap game if things are going well for us. I don't think Michigan State could be better.
Year 2 under Jonathan Smith.
Like it could be a lot better. I just think a lot of people are down on them. I don't know why, really, but I do feel good about that one being at home, regardless of our record at that time.
Well, it's similar. It's similar to the Michigan game. Quarterback position. Michigan State again, not strong in that field.
They are also coming off of a bye before they play us.
Correct. So, I think good point. Yep. Dak, I also don't think I like their quarterback.
Because that's the old Oregon State quarterback, correct?
Did he play there? I don't know. Yeah, it is. Aiden Giles. I like him a lot, actually, and I think he was young last year, but I think he does. He has a lot better pieces than what Michigan had last year. And he's back for a second year as well. I mean, I that's the one part of their team that does scare me is him being an athletic, mobile
He can move.
leader. So, did you know who their quarterback even was before this podcast?
Yep,
I don't think you did.
I did.
Okay. Anything else on the Spartans?
I don't think so. One of these years they're going to turn it around. Michigan State used to be pretty good.
All I remember about them is 2 years ago, the worst reffing game I've ever saw in my life at Michigan State.
Yeah, it was.
The punt that we punted the wrong way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was our fault.
And they were horrible that year. And I was like, I put a lot of money on Nebraska that game, and you know what? I lost.
That was Mel Tucker's last year, and guess who was attending the game?
Hunter Zarbnicki.
Speaking of
Attending
Hunter
the game, here we go.
Zarbanicki attending the game at Maryland, first road
Oh,
game,
going to the Terrapins this year, huh?
and look at the odds. My odds might imply that.
Yeah, there's a reason why you put it 50.
We are right around the same as Michigan State. We're on the road. The Terps have struggled. Mike Loxley out there as the head coach. Not sure what year he's in, but they are a game that a lot of people think we should win, including the implied odds up around 70%. Someone did put us at 27% to win on the road. It is a road game. I have us lower than the average by quite a bit. I am going, guys, this is just speaks trap game to me, just everywhere, regardless of where we're at. I did think we're beating Michigan State. So I think regardless whether we're 4-1, 5-0, 3-2, hopefully not 3-2, but we could be. I think this is one that we can slip up on out there. Sleepy Stadium. I think we might overlook them. We shouldn't overlook anybody, but it just naturally happens. I do think this is going to be maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong and we go out and just whoop them, but I'm going. So I just don't think that will happen.
Exactly. This is Zarbnicki travel pessimism is what this is. Not that I'm saying 63 is much higher than 50, but I mean, Maryland has been struggling the last couple of years. They're about a 500 team, and we've also been about a 500 team, but I would probably say most people can see the improvement as far as recruiting goes for us, where I don't think Maryland's quite seen that same. We at least have a 5-star quarterback, and you really haven't seen that on the Maryland side.
Yeah, and they just lost their
Yes.
stud quarter. No more Talia or whatever however you say his name.
To Tunge, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Talia, who's probably one of the best players they've had, maybe ever.
They were having some Loxley said, yeah, last year we had locker room issues because of the dollar amount and stuff. I was like, man, if you're talking about that in public, you're having issues.
Just throw your team underneath the bus. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it's like, well, the reason we didn't do that well last year is because the players were talking about money. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, it was basically blamed NIL for him being a bad coach.
Yes.
Okay. At Minnesota, short week, Friday. We're sitting right around that 50% mark from the poll that we sent out, including Dak and Austin. I'm lower than that here. Implied odds also 51%. This is another game that I don't feel great about. If Maryland,
I think it depends on how
a trap game,
how
this
Maryland
is a trap game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If Maryland, if we beat Maryland, this game becomes a lot harder. But if we lose to Maryland, I feel much better about this game.
Minnesota has had your number ever since Nebraska came to the Big Ten too.
Who hasn't had your number since we came into the Big Ten?
True, but
Purdue.
Purdue. I don't know. I feel like Minnesota's. There's only been one time you absolutely kick the doors off them. But other than that, it's always a tight game with them. And I really like their quarterback.
Tanner Morgan?
No, not Tanner Morgan.
Oh, he's gone finally?
Yeah. Who knows? He'll probably roll out there again.
Home somewhere. I'm sure he's on their coaching staff. What do you think Tanner Morgan's up to these days?
Right, car salesman.
I think he is on.
He's probably on some NFL roster,
I think
right?
he is. I think the Vikings took him.
No way.
I'm pretty sure they picked him up.
You guys keep talking. I'll find. Oh yeah, I think Steelers.
I could have swore the.
Oh
Anyway,
no, the
they.
Vikings had him. He's a practice squad member of the Vikings in 2023. He is at the University of Minnesota as an offensive analyst
Oh,
following his release. Oh
Ah,
wait, never mind. He is at the
nope.
Vikings. He's at the Vikings.
He is at the Vikings. Okay, enough
You're
Tanner
right.
Morgan talk.
Okay, you're right.
Nebraska has lost our last 5 games against Minnesota. So you're right. They've had our number. Our last win was in 2018 when we just whooped them 53-28.
We thought everything was going to be right in the world. I remember
Oh,
that
I
game.
remember that game distinctly. Just felt great. We're like, this is awesome. But yeah, they've had our number. PJ Fleck has had our number. I do think PJ Fleck can't be hanging on there much longer, just being where he's at. Maybe Minnesota fans don't care, but I do think this kind of is one of those years that PJ Fleck's got to show up and show out a little bit for Minnesota for him to continue. But yeah, about 50%. It's going to be a tough one. Northwestern's our next one at home. This is one that that was my third maybe win gimme game. 78-80% kind of where the average is at. We're all right in that ballpark between 70 and 80%. I'm on the high end, Austin, a little bit on the low end, but I think this is a game that, you know what, it's at home. We beat them last year. I think that we should take care of business this game. I think we're better than Northwestern. I can, for weirdly, one time say that against another team in the Big Ten that we're playing against, but I do feel like this is a game we should and will win. Not like it's a gimme like Akron and Houston Christian are, but that's where I'm at.
Northwestern has a tendency to give us problems for some reason. They're always close games.
Mm-hmm.
So
That they have.
I don't. I mean, I know they have a new. This is the year 2 with their new coach. I couldn't tell you his name. But I couldn't shake the feeling that every game against Northwestern seemed to be a field goal or two.
and they've been down for a long time too. Is the reason why you're saying that because of the Northwestern Ireland game?
Probably still
Yeah.
hungover on the.
Yeah, you still have nightmares about that one.
Yes.
I mean, I will say there was, I think since we joined the Big Ten, the running joke for a while was the 3-point games between Northwestern.
Right.
I mean, it was a 3-point game for quite a while. We are 7-6 since we joined the Big Ten. Gosh, it still sounds sad to say against Northwestern, but 7-6 against Northwestern since we joined. Yeah, the most recent loss there being in Ireland. I guess I take that back. Last year or 2 years ago, I guess we didn't play them last year. We only won 17-9 in Lincoln, but we did win.
Went to the worst football game I've ever watched in person. Northwestern Nebraska. It was when Martinez the year that he was coming out of the Heisman hype. The worst football game ever.
Was that
I can't.
Was that the 13-10
Yes.
field goal winner?
Yep, the field goal to win it
above the crossbar.
Well, what was that? Like a 30-yard field goal? And he barely.
Hey, it went in. Lane McCollum, baby. Lane McCollum. Converted safety to kicker. Came through. Okay. USC at home. Surprise. I guess it's 50% chance. Dak, you're the lowest here, so we're going to need an explanation from you. But I think everybody's right around 50-50 at home. I think it's similar to the Michigan game in my mind. USC obviously has a lot of talent out there. I just don't think Lincoln Riley's a very good coach. You don't say thank you because you have a lower odds. You got to explain why he's a good coach. So that's my take at home and where we're at in the schedule. I hope we can win this game. I think a lot of people think we can. I think it's a pretty even 50-50 game.
I think we can. I mean, they're coming off. They play Michigan, Notre Dame. Then they do have a bye weekend and they play us. That's the one thing that kind of scares me is they're coming off a bye when we have to travel out to California. But I think talent wise, I mean, I think they just have better recruiting classes. And I don't know about the development of the actual coaching strategy, but I would say that they have more natural talent probably than our roster does, which always scares me, just
That's
size wise. It's
yeah,
always
that's the
concerning.
reason why I put it at 35% because I think USC has quite a bit more talent than Nebraska does.
And better coaching.
Not better coaching. That's that is not true. Which Lincoln Riley might not be the coach of that game.
Oh,
I
mid-season
think
firing for
I think
Lincoln Riley.
he could get canned before that game.
Well, that
I don't
that
know.
that would be a great reason for you to say why you have it lower because their interim's better than Lincoln Riley.
He is. I think Lincoln Riley is a horrible coach, and I've said that ever since he left Oklahoma.
I don't think he's gonna get fired, Dak.
I
Their
think
sched their
he.
schedule, they play Missouri. Quick USC rundown schedule. I think they're gonna start 5-2 at worst because it's Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, then Michigan, Notre Dame, then us. So you really have to goober up that start of the season to get fired.
I mean, would you say he is on the hottest seat of coaching in the Big Ten?
Yes.
I have PJ Fleck higher, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He hasn't done much, if anything, since he's been at USC. I mean, he's had talent every single year, just nothing.
and
Is
it's
Miller Moss still their quarterback?
no. Jaden Mayaba.
Oh, the guy, which he played. I don't know. Last year against Nebraska, he was okay, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he's a good quarterback. I think he's pretty
Yep.
solid. I think he had a chance to have a breakout year if things go right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say Lincoln Riley's not coaching that game. Write that in pen.
That's one of your weird takes that sometimes you normally get right. At UCLA, next game. One of our, I guess USC was a pretty high spread too between our min and our max, but UCLA also, we have a 35% low and an 80% high from our surveys. Everything came in right around 50% though, from an average standpoint. Austin and I again are right there. Dak's a little lower. Deshaun Foster, year 2. Does anybody know where UCLA is located?
What do you mean where they're located?
You guys didn't listen to Big Ten Media Days last year?
No.
It was a funny joke, and they were hoping he'd do it again. He came into Big Ten Media Days and said, "We're UCLA." For those of you that don't know, we're in California.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, they again tricky spot going out there. The Rose Bowl and UCLA fans are never known for having large crowds. I do expect there to be a large amount of Husker fans if the season's probably regardless, but especially if the season's going decently well.
I mean, there's a pretty high shot there's gonna be more Husker fans in this game, right?
Yeah,
I think
UCLA. I do think from what I've been hearing, they've gotten a little bit better support maybe the past couple of years, but it's still on the road. I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 game. They have some talent too. They still have California talent.
They have that Tennessee quarterback, right?
Correct. And Nico
Yes.
Lavalia, or however you say his name, he transferred out there, which it was him and Dylan, right, from last year's QB class were the two freshmen coming in. And neither, Nico didn't have a great year. Like it wasn't like he put up Heisman type numbers at Tennessee.
No.
Tennessee had a pretty solid year. But yeah, he transferred out and went to UCLA.
My odds, I'm looking at them now, but I'm thinking they should be lower because I don't love the idea of a road game before a bye week after playing USC at home. But they just haven't. I mean, we lost to them last year, right?
And that, would you guys say that? I think it was. That was your worst loss of the season last year?
No.
Really? I think it was.
Oh,
Illinois.
worst losses in like most embarrassing.
Yeah, like most
Oh, I
like
was gonna
yeah,
say worst
demoralized.
losses that hurt the most was the Iowa game. God, that hurt. That was the
That
worst
hurt.
loss. But
I think the
But like
worst
in
losses in embarrassing was Illinois. I mean that overtime was so bad. I've
they
never
all
seen a
sucked.
worse overtime. Yeah, you're right. Who am I kidding?
The UCLA one hurt just because
they're
it
It was
was
the
horrible.
the one that would get us to a bowl game.
bowl game. Yeah.
That's why that one hurt probably a little more. And we thought, okay, it's at home. We should win this game. And then we didn't.
And they
The
kind of
best
controlled the
thing,
game too. Like it was never. It felt like UCLA was going to win that game the whole game.
UCLA also coming off of a bye week for us.
Man,
Seems to be
There you
another.
go.
That's is that the fourth
Jesus.
one?
Yeah, you,
But they do
you,
play at Ohio State after us, so it could be a looking ahead kind of game. Maybe I don't know with a bye week. Man, that's a lot of teams coming off a bye week against us.
I mean, Nico's not a horrible quarterback either. That's going to be a very tough game. Which I see that as I have the lowest odds.
yes, you do.
Way to defend that one, Dak.
The at in front of the team right there does not mean anything. It could be a home game.
Real quick before we do that, this is an opinion that I have that I don't know if it's very common, but people make a big deal about traveling to across time zones, two time zones. Playing. I'm not sure when this game will be, but if it's normally 11 o'clock, it would be like a 9 o'clock game for us over there. If it was, people make a big deal about that in the betting world, in the prediction world. I truly don't think it matters that much at all, really. I think they think it messes with the players' minds and the brains and all that. Like, I think
It's
big swings in time of day, but as far as like 2 hours and travel time and lag goes, like these kids especially are traveling all over the country now, like growing up for random youth stuff and are used to doing some of that. So I don't, to me, that doesn't affect or swing, not just because UCLA doesn't have a home crowd, but the travel thing, I don't think that's a huge flaw. Some people are big believers in that. I'm not.
no, you just usually
I
what they
thought,
do with this is you leave a day or two earlier for these longer road trips, but so I don't think it matters either.
I thought there was a stat last year that teams that traveled performed worse against the spread. I could be wrong.
There might be. I think there probably is some data. I don't know. I don't see that way. Now, I do think different topic that we're not going to get into, but I do think time of day when you're practicing and how your bodies are programmed there is an impact. But we won't get into that today because I think there may be some conversation on that later in the year.
It's not like this the 1800s. You're not going there on the horse and carriage. You're you're taking a 3-hour flight there.
Right, that's true. Private jets.
Yep. Penn State off a bye week, going to Happy Valley. Tough game. No one's got us over 50%, but someone got us close. There's Austin's got the lowest odds here, tied for the lowest odds with somebody else at 5%. I'm at 15, Dax at 20. Surprisingly, our average did come in around 20. I think that's high, a little high. The implied odds right around 18%. It's not going to be an easy game. Penn State, like I mentioned before, is a national title contender. I said dark horse earlier, but I think they're even one that's potentially getting a lot
I
of
mean,
votes and
Drew
hype.
Aller's getting like hyped up like crazy for some reason.
Yes. James Franklin is needing to win the big one. I'll say that. He's close. They've had a very, very, very good program year after year. Going on the road, as you guys probably know, is the tough thing at Penn State at Happy Valley. It's one of the best stadiums in the country, largest. I did hear from my uncle who lives out there that they're redoing a lot part of the stadium, which is going to take out some 10 to 20,000 seats this year. So that's getting redone and it won't be done this year. So that maybe helps a little bit. Not there being 115, 120,000 in there, but only 100,000.
You going to this one?
No, I don't think I'll make it out. And he said too, just wait till they get the stadium done, which I think that makes sense. Even though we haven't played out there, and I guess we played out there during COVID, I believe.
Yep, we did. We won.
And we won.
Like a 15-11 game or
Yep.
something.
Yeah. Who was the? Here we go. Here's a good question. Who's the quarterback that game?
For us or them?
Nebraska.
I have no clue.
Gosh.
Luke
It had to
McCaffrey.
be.
That was a year I think we had 7 quarterbacks start for us throughout the year.
Pretty sure he played that full game, and it was, there wasn't much offense in that game. But this game reminds me a lot of last year with Ohio State. We all gave him no shot, and Nebraska should have probably won.
That's fair. I mean, Penn State coming down the year, they'll have one loss between Oregon and Ohio State. Might have 2 if they lose both those games. So it could be high pressure for them if they're hoping for playoff berth.
I agree. I think it could be a trap game, quote unquote, for them. Given where it's
Sandwich
at in their
between
schedule.
Michigan State and Rutgers road games.
Were you being serious about you don't know why Drew Aller's getting all this hype?
I'm not saying don't know why, but I'm saying he's getting a ton of hype.
I think he's a damn good quarterback. I wasn't huge on him until the playoffs last year. I thought he played great in the playoffs, and that changed my mind on him. But
No, I think he's good. I think Penn State will be good. But I mean, he's up there top 3 Heisman odds.
Yeah.
Right?
I think he's pretty high up there. I think he's got very high draft stock as well. Austin will double check on the Heisman odds here.
I'm pulling up Arch Manning, way too high. Let's see.
he's number 1.
No.
Oh yeah.
I gotta find.
By the way,
Arch Manning is number 1.
Just a savior as far as podcast research and stuff. I love it.
He is tied. Drew Aller is tied for 5th with plus 1,600 as of July 8th. So I guess this is a month old, but
yes,
so if
Dak,
anybody's
Arch is at the top.
All right, if anybody's looking, just go throw money in the wind. Go put money on Arch Manning to win Heisman.
I could probably agree.
I don't know. We'll get that in our conference previews here in a couple of days. Iowa, last game in the schedule at home this year, 11 a.m. on Black Friday. We're at a consensus around 60%. Dak's at 50%. I'm at 60. Austin's at 55. It's Iowa, guys. I think
that's why
having it at home.
50.
I don't know if anything warrants more than a 10% either way, but the home field advantage. And that
was my 5%. I was like, it's a 50% game, but it's at home. I'll give it 55.
And I think a lot of people just throw out 50-50 as a
safe bet.
General, like it's Iowa. You never know. Now, I say that with a little bit of a smirk because Iowa's kicked our ass recently. And I think they've won 7 of the last 8 or something like that, or 6 of the last 8, something around there. So it's at home this year. Gosh, I feel like this should be the year we get them at home, regardless of anything else in the previous 11 games. I tried to look at this one in isolation because I do think rivalry games and a lot of that, and every year it becomes more and more of a rivalry game. You have to kind of do that. It's rivalry week on Black Friday. So I just feel like we can get this one done better than a 50-50 chance.
Do you think Iowa fans feel the same way about the Nebraska game, or is it just Nebraska fans because we're so close and we always lose?
I think Iowa's, well, I know this. Iowa's biggest rival is not Nebraska.
It's Minnesota, right?
Minnesota. So for that reason, Austin, I do think they view us as a rival, but because they kicked our ass over and over, they're like, okay, like we'll battle you for the corn and just say we have better corn. And but they care more about the Minnesota game than Nebraska because I think they've owned us in recent years.
There was some rankings I saw. Iowa's coming into this game with a better quarterback. I saw,
You should-
I think it was the Athletic ranked quarterbacks in the season, and Iowa's is like 37th and Iowa's 38th. So
really? Who's their quarterback?
Hunter, do you know it?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I cannot remember what his name is.
Yeah, it's your stat, so you better have the quarterback.
They have, holy smokes, they have so many people. Is it Jackson Stratton?
Nope.
Mark Gronowski?
I
Gronowski?
think that's who it is. Yeah, 95% sure.
It is still a Kirk Ferentz offense. It is Mark Gronowski, I believe, from
South Dakota State Jackrabbit.
So,
A lot of hype on him.
the win total odds, and here's where we landed. So, as a group, 7.5 is right around the average in the median. Our lowest came in at right at six wins. Our highest came in at 8.6, 8.7.
Wow,
Dax
that's not as high as I would have thought.
Dax at 6.8. I was at just over 7 at 7.1. Austin's at 7.3. So what's funny, we're all still technically kind of on the unders. I don't know. I guess it's probably a little bit of the prove it mode is where all of us are at, including a lot of our fans and people that filled this out. But there's definitely some very pessimistic and very optimistic still baked into all of this. But right now, everyone's becoming a little more realistic in our predictions. And I think we joke about the Husker Kool-Aid and the preseason hype. Every year, that becomes more and more and more of a sarcastic joke to me than actually being what you think. Now, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years ago, when that Kool-Aid, that hype, that those were realistic projections and thoughts. When people would say, we're going to go 10-2, 11-1. People thought that. Now people are saying 11-1, 12-0. I think that's more of a laugh, like, we like to make fun of us drinking the Kool-Aid. So I want to throw that out there because I think people get a little confused about that. That's my take on it in the Husker football conversation when that happens, versus it actually being real talk. It's more sarcastic jokes. But I do think people right now, like, there's a not lack of hope, but diminishing hope of that we can ever turn this football program back to playoff type contenders. Now, that being said,
16 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
That's going to keep expanding. The college football landscape's going to keep moving. So who knows where that'll end up.
64.
Before we wrap up here, this is what I want you guys to do, and you can break it up however you want to do it in sections. I kind of have it how I'm doing it, but I want to kind of give your worst case scenario, what that looks like, and then when I say what it means, it doesn't have to be impossible, but that probably could happen. It could happen on the worst case side, and then your best case, like where things could go, your ceiling, floor. We obviously have kind of our actual thoughts in here already. So I don't care who goes first.
I'll go first. Worst case scenario, we start the year, the first third of our games, we go 2-2. We drop the home opener against Cincinnati, and everyone drives home from Kansas City super sad, except, you have to listen to Travis Kelce celebrate. We get our asses handed to us by Michigan at home. The Kool-Aid is done. Season feels like it's over, 2-2. We then go on a nice little 3-game win streak. We go 5-2 going into the year, and then we end the year losing every single game. 5-12. Not 5-12. Geez, no, that'd be rough. 5-12. 5-7.
And then give us the best case.
I mean, best case, you start the year out, you win every game up until Penn State. I mean, there is like a a shooter's chance that you run it through, and then you hit Penn State and you lose, and you end the year out 11-1. Probably 11-2. You lose in the Big Ten championship at that point.
And
In the playoffs? Oh,
that's
boy.
what I'm asking. Is 11-2 good enough to get the playoffs?
Oh, yes. 11-2 is good to
Yeah.
get in the playoffs. Yep.
And
lose in the playoffs.
okay. I want you to play this.
You're right.
Out.
That's
like,
fair.
In
my
your
mind is
brain,
like,
what does this
hello,
feel
Hunter.
like? How are people doing?
Those are dumb questions, Hunter. Of course we're going to lose in the playoffs. Let's not.
I think your absolute worst case scenario is it's kind of the same line Austin is 4 wins. Matt Rule's fired. The Raiola sucks. Like everything just goes to shit because you have 1, 2, 3. I would say guaranteed wins. So I don't think
I don't know, Dak. You said Akron's 85%. That's not a guaranteed win in your mind.
that's pretty guaranteed. Because I don't think there's any shot. I mean, it would have to go. I don't even know what would happen to get less than 4 wins this season.
Okay, so Dak, you said Matt Rule gets fired. Are you thinking mid-season? If so, when does that occur? Or are you thinking postseason? Under that scenario.
Postseason. I don't think they'll fire him mid-season no matter what. I mean, you'd have to go 8 to have that happen. Because I just think it's a lot. It's pretty bad for your program to fire a coach mid-season. I think, yeah. So say you go 4 wins, he's done at the end of the year. Raiola transfers. That's worst case scenario right there. Your best, it's the same as Austin. You go undefeated at Penn State. You lose to Penn State. So yeah, 11-1. Make the playoffs. Let's say Nebraska makes the second round of playoffs. Is your best case scenario, I think.
Who we beaten in the first round?
Let's go. Oklahoma.
Notre Dame.
I was
Notre
hoping
Dame.
you'd say Oklahoma. I thought, wait,
Oklahoma.
yeah. So you think Nebraska's better than Oklahoma?
Yes, actually, yes.
Okay. I guess you guys are on a very I'm not going to get into stats terms, but there's everybody knows the bell curve, right? The thing that looks like a bell, and there's 2 tail ends of low and high predictions. You guys are a little more wider than mine of where I was thinking here, but I think worst case scenario, Austin, I am with you. I do think we start off 2-2. I mean, I could see us losing that Cincinnati game, Michigan game. Out of that next group of 4, I think we're winning 3 of those, or 2 of those, 1 or 2 of those. I think the last grouping there, I don't think we'd go 0-4, but we definitely could. I think our 5 and 7 is probably not bad. But 6 and 6, I think, is maybe more of a realistic kind of, in my mind, bad scenario. And I think that could come with a couple of blowout losses in there that could get scary, like Penn State. But I do think for the most part, we're going to be in every one of these games. I think Penn State's in maybe, I don't know, maybe a Michigan or USC, but I think we're going to be in every game. So that being said, could we lose all of our close games again? Yeah, there's no reason we wouldn't, because we just love doing that. So I do think 5 and 7, 6 and 6, that ballpark, worst case scenario. Gosh, if that happens, I can't. The Rule firing thing's hard for me. In my mind, would I want him to? Yes. Will we if we finish 6 and 6 but lose a lot of close games? That I don't know. That I'd say it's a 50-50 shot. But I do.
I think 6 and I don't think we fire him after 6 and 6.
Yeah,
I think there's
That's-
a lot.
So you do?
Too much money
That's
tied
hard.
to him.
You go 6 and 6. You would want him to be fired?
No.
Depending on how it went, maybe. Yeah. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's fair.
I think if I don't know, there's ways that could go, but yes, I think there's a certain point in time where progress and momentum and all that stops, I think it's less and less in today's environment every year. So that's worst case. Obviously, I'm not much higher than that for my realistic, but best case scenario, as much as I'd want to say it could be 11, I don't think it is. I'm not as high on that either. I do think that, we could start off the year really, really hot and going, 6-0 or 7-0, 5-0 in there. I do think we trip up one of those games at Maryland or at Minnesota. And I know even for a best case, me saying losing to Maryland's funny, but I just don't think I don't think we're going to go 9-0 or 10-0 for sure, but we're losing somewhere in there, and maybe even throw in the USC loss or at UCLA. So I think best case scenario, we're sitting 8-2 going into Penn State, maybe 9-1, but probably 8-2. I don't know that we're beating Penn State even under a best case scenario, but that'd be great. Iowa, I think we get that one then. So I have us, I'll say 10-2, 9-3 probably more of where I'm thinking. That gets us into a good bowl game. I don't think 9-3 gets you into the playoffs. 10-2 probably does. It's going to be very close. So depending on, again, where everything else is at in the Big Ten, especially given our schedule, I don't think we're going to get any bonus points for having a tougher schedule. But how you play in that Penn State game is going to be big, I think. I mean, if you compete with them and Penn State happens to be 11-0 or 10-1, I think that shows a lot of people know we're right there. And I think under the best case scenario, we do. I don't think we go out there and get blown out. Lastly, I had this prediction come to my head, this scenario. This wouldn't be funny. Wouldn't this be funny if this happened? And funny maybe is a air quote word. We are 10-0, 9-1, best case scenario going into Penn State. The year 3 rule narrative, everybody's just, it's the best thing ever, right? We're Dylan Raiola's playing out of his mind, getting some Heisman talk. Things are going great, kind of like all of our best case scenario. Penn State, let's say, is maybe not doing as well. Maybe they're, let's go, 7-3 heading into our game, 6-4. They've been treading through mud. We go out to Penn State, we beat them. Okay, we get beat Iowa, go to the playoffs. Maybe lose first rounder. We just missed the playoffs, maybe because we're not, 10-2 or something. We're very close. We're all hyped up. James Franklin fired at Penn State. Guess whose alma mater is Penn State? Guess who's best friends with the AD at Penn State?
So Matt Rule was giving him some high praise during Big Ten media days.
That's Mr. Matt Rule. So again, are Nebraska fans right now like Matt Rule's the best coach in the college football right now? No. But I think if he did that and we're sitting, 11-1 after the year, everybody's going to say Matt Rule's the best thing ever, which again, myself included, I'd say, man, he knows how to do this. He knows how to rebuild programs. He is great. But wouldn't it be funny if this all happened and then Penn State poaches him, and not only poaches him, but brings everybody with them, including Raiola, maybe even Dana Holgerson. I mean, for our scenario, it'd be nice to salvage Dana, maybe become our head coach, but that probably would happen, more likely happen if that did happen. But wouldn't it be funny if that happened? And then we basically have to reset, go back to groundbreaking and start over. But
So
will
the
that
best
happen?
case
No.
scenario,
It's a fun scenario to think about.
the best case, yes. Because, I mean, luckily with the expanded playoffs, there's a good chance that even if Penn State were to lose to us, and in this hypothetical scenario where we are 10-1, or we go in, we beat Penn State, we end the year 11-1 or whatever, and Penn State loses to us, realistically, they probably only lost 1 or 2 games, so they're also in contention for playoffs. So it's like, do you fire your head coach after going 10-2 and make the playoffs?
This scenario is basically saying Penn State struggles enough to where they're upset with James Franklin and they go, they lose our game, can't win the big game, but can't win, they're 8-4, 7-5, and they really had a down year. That's what that scenario is. Because James Franklin, not that he's on the hot seat, but he's known, and it's become more and more talk that he can't win the big game and can't get over the hump that Penn State fans want him to. So something like that would probably set them over the edge. Now, Austin, you're right. If they go 10-2, they're probably not going to fire him. They could maybe, but I doubt they will.
I don't. I think they might.
That'd be dumb.
So,
That's how you end up like Nebraska. You make one dumb coaching firing, and you can
well,
end up in a spiral
guys,
forever.
Wisconsin tried switching
Yep.
everything up.
Yep.
We're going down the blueprint. They actually got rid of their OC Phil Longo and brought in a new guy who's going back to more power run, which they caught it a lot quicker than we did. So,
all right. So let's make this prediction now. Come 2026 kickoff, will Matt Rule be the coach of Nebraska?
yes.
Yes.
But, Dak, you bring that up. I think this is something fun that we want to track and talk about here and maybe even build some sort of metric or graph or something based on how the season goes. Right now, I think you put that on a confidence level. I would give it a
90%.
Well, that's where you're at. I would give it like a 65 or 70 right now.
So
I think he will be, but I'm telling you, if we win 6 games, I think, or even 7, maybe not 7 because people will say, oh, it's a step better than last year. But if we go 6-6 and lose our bowl game, I don't know. I'll just say that. And I think that chance is a lot better chance of happening Dak than Nebraska losing to Akron.
Yeah, I guess I did just say that Akron has a better shot of beating Nebraska than Matt Rule getting fired. Yeah, so yeah.
So I think it is a fun conversation to track. Not that we want him to, and not that we think he even will, but I do think that conversation could be had depending how the season goes, or it could go the complete opposite way, and he could be one of the best coaches in Nebraska since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what's hard right now. You just don't know, given how the season plays out. It's year 3. It's show it mode. Prove it. This is your program. This is your players now from the portal and the recruits. So it's time. It's now, and we have the schedule to do it. It's not like our schedule is brutal. Like I said, I even think it's considered easy. We have a shot to do it.
It could be a good year.
Could be. Okay. We'll be back Thursday morning. We'll be doing more of an NCAA conference by conference quick preview. I'm talking about some of the guys we already touched on it to win the Heisman, some favorites to make the playoffs. Talk about some conferences that probably nobody cares about, but we'll give it to you anyways. Dak's got the MAC all researched and ready to go from action. So, all right. See you Thursday. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.